Welcome back to another episode of Maple Brownie Mix. I hope you guys got a chance to take a look at the last two recipes, the butternut squash soup and the winter jaw mix, and gave it a try. If so, let me know in the comments. I'm always excited to hear from you guys. Today, we're going to make one of my family favorites, baked beans with poached eggs. It's one that whenever the family's together, my siblings absolutely request it all the time. And as you've seen on my Instagram over the last year, I make it at least once or twice a month just because it's that awesome. So today I get to share with you my little twists and turns and secrets that I've added over the years. This recipe was actually started through one of my friends from Britain who had given me what their family used to make, and from there I took it and made it my own. So I'm really excited to share it with you guys today. For today's recipe, we're going to need 1 yellow bell pepper chopped, 1 red bell pepper chopped, 1 cup of sliced mushrooms, 2 tomatoes chopped, 1 medium purple onion chopped, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of smoky ranchero, my favorite is Clubhouse version, 3/4 of a teaspoon of smoked paprika, 3/4 of a teaspoon of chili powder, half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper, salt to taste, and the beans we'll be using today are the British style Heinz baked beans, but any type of baked beans will do here. So let's get started. Okay, in our frying pan, we are going to heat up between 1 to 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. I prefer vegetable because again, it's a neutral oil, won't lend too much flavor to the actual recipe as we go through it. So we're just gonna allow that to heat up for a little bit. All right, so our oil is heated up. We're going to now add the onions and start to saute them. All right, so as you can see, our onions are now gaining that nice translucent look to it. Just want to give it a little bit longer. We're not trying to brown them, we're just trying to get them to that nice kind of clear translucent look. All right, that looks brilliant. So we're going to add our tomatoes to this next. And give this a nice saute down. All right, so our tomatoes have cooked down nicely. I don't want them to be mushy. I want them to be soft. They are going to still cook with the beans later as well, so we don't want to lose the complete texture of it. Into this goes our bell pepper. So our red and yellow bell pepper. You can also use a green bell pepper here. It'll give you less of a kind of sweeter taste overall because the red bell pepper really adds a sweetness to this, and that's what we prefer in my house. But again, this part with the bell pepper, you can add easily green bell pepper, orange, whatever your heart desires. I love this blend of color. It just looks absolutely gorgeous right now. We're not going to, again, overcook the bell pepper here at this point because, again, there's going to be some time to cook it through with the baked beans. We're just trying to get them a little softer than where they were at before. I like to add the lid at this point just to give it a little bit more of the steam cooking. All right, this is perfect. To this, we add our mushrooms. And mix this all in together as well. Completely just incorporate it all together. And again, we're going to give it approximately another 30 seconds of steaming. Mushrooms don't need too much time to steam cook, so that's why I always put them last as my vegetable to make sure that we don't, again, make them into mush. Okay, so that is enough time to just get those mushrooms to be cooked in, which is great. Now, we're going to add our baked beans. One. In my family, because this usually feeds about 8 people, so we use 2 cans. And if you're looking for half the recipe, obviously it would be 1 can. Now, I prefer the Heinz baked beans, the British style, because I don't like my beans to be overly sweet, and this has the least amount of sugar in it per can compared to what else is on the market. Just gonna make sure that we mix this all together so it's all evenly distributed as best as possible. And to this, we're gonna add now our seasoning. So we'll start with the smoky ranchero. Just adds that nice bit of smoky flavor to it as well, which the smoked paprika, chili powder, and the crushed red pepper will also enhance. My family enjoys it nice and spicy, gives it a little kick, but you can easily adjust the spices to your needs here. I had one seasoning called Wild Whiskey Barbecue, which was, I got it at Costco way back when, but I can't seem to find it since, but that also was an awesome seasoning for this. Smells amazing, guys. I wish you guys could just take a whiff of this. It's already amazing. Okay, we're gonna give this about 30 seconds to a minute to just kind of blend all together. And then the last 2 spices we're going to add are our black pepper and our salt. Okay, last but not least, black pepper, which is actually key to a really good baked bean dish. And salt to taste. So for me, it's between usually about 1 to 2 teaspoons. This is probably closer to 1.5 today. So again, just mix it all in. so it's been a minute. That looks amazing. So our baked beans at this point in time are pretty much done. So if you wanted to just serve it as is, you could go ahead, let it cook for maybe another minute or so. But this is done on its own, and that's a beauty, like absolutely a beauty. But we're not done. My favorite step is the addition of eggs. So this poached eggs style was given to me by a friend who was, you know, amazed at what a brilliant recipe it was, but just to enhance it further, suggested that I add eggs to it. So I experimented, and this is what works best. So again, there's about 6 people eating today. I'm going to be adding 8 eggs into it. Now that all the eggs have been added to our dish, we're going to cover it. Give it about 10 seconds on this high heat. I'm gonna leave it to poach the eggs in its own steam. This is brilliant because there's so many aromatic flavors in this dish, and that's just gonna infuse the eggs with all of that. So it's amazing. Just can't wait for you guys to try it. All right, it's been 6 minutes and they're starting to finally get to that point where they're poaching. Sometimes you'll notice that one side's poaching faster than the other, so I come and usually try to rotate it. And then that way we give it nice and even cooking. In the meantime, while this is poaching, I have gotten ready on the other side some toast that's about to be toasted. So basically I've got 2 slices of pumpernickel bread and then my mom's homemade buns, and I've added some marble cheddar cheese, and basically this is what I'll be serving my baked beans and eggs on top of. And so what I'm going to do is, because there's multiple people eating it, I'm going to put it into our little toaster oven and get this all done in the same amount of time. All right, we don't want to over poach our eggs, so I'm going to actually now turn off the oven. Excuse me, turn off the stove. It's a Sunday morning. And I'm just gonna take it off the heat to the side. Because it's still hot, it's going to continue to cook for the next 3 to 4 minutes, and I don't want my yolks to be overly well done. So it's good to just take it off and give it a little bit of rest before we serve it. All right, so time for plating. For my plating, I'm actually going to use my pumpernickel toast because it's my favorite personally. And got that going right there. We're just going to scoop out one of these brilliantly poached eggs. Place it just on top. We're just going to add a little bit more. Those baked beans just around the sides. That looks amazing, guys. Absolutely fantastic. To see how that egg is done. Ooh. So I like it personally jammy. It's like a perfect jammy egg. Brilliant. But if you serve it a little sooner, it would be nice and runny, but it's totally your choice. Some people like it overly, you know. So that was my baked beans with poached eggs recipe. I hope you guys get a chance to try it out soon and let me know what your thoughts are on it. Like, subscribe, comment on the video, and share it with your friends and families. And I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy this with the rest of my family. Love it.